Good evening, everybody, and welcome once again for the first IRL round of the PC Championship in 2020. And what a better stage for that than the Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez, home of the Mexican Grand Prix, just over 2,200 meters above the sea level, 17 turns, some very challenging ones for that matter, as the drivers are going to navigate them 36 times this afternoon in order to claim the top step of the podium. At the end of it, of course, we have the C4s as the soft tires, the C3s marked in yellow as the mediums, and the C2s marked in hard, as the drivers are going to choose between the two-stop or the one-stop as the most effective strategies for this afternoon. In terms of the standings, we have Shadow as newly crowned champion in P1 with a 108 points gap over Cruisix, who's followed by Andy Nater in P3, Lehman in P4, and Plexis closing the top 5. Infamous is still the best of the reserves with 96 points, 5 ahead of Iceman, as the best Alfa Romeo sits in P7, right ahead of J. Cole, 10 points apart. iCurly with 75 points in P9, and Bird, the best of the Mercedes drivers, sits with 61 points, closing the top 10. Moving to the constructors, we have the Renault F1 team with a chance of claiming the constructors title today. 150 points apart sits P2 as the Woking-based McLaren in P2 at the moment, with the Aston Martin Red Bull team just 2 points behind. Alfa Romeo not too far behind with 161 points, as the Groove team Williams follows with 154, 3 points ahead of Silverstone-based Racing Point, with Mercedes as the Brackley team sits in 7th, with the Rich Energy As in P8 with 61 points, and then an Italian tie, an Italian stalemate between the Ferrari and the Toro Rosso teams, as they occupy 9th and 10th on the table. So with that, we can get ourselves started with the Grand Prix. And as always, we have our good friend Jess in the commentary. How are you doing, first of all? And second, it looks like it's raining quite a bit over the Mexican circuit.
Yes, it is. Good evening, everybody. Hope you're all having a great evening so far. And yeah, what a way to start the first ILR race of the decade with a bit of rain to spice things up. It doesn't rain much in Mexico, so it's kind of a bit of an anomaly. But I'm excited that it's like this. And we've got 16 drivers willing to show us what they're made of today. And I do believe, Racebug, we have a few debutants to the league tonight.
Yes, we do indeed. So Maranello Baby is going to be driving for, guess what, Ferrari, right? The Maranello boy in the Ferrari number 49 comes from the faraway country of India. And as we have a spinner back there, that was most likely Black Panther in the Alfa Romeo. But he has company in the debutees, as tonight is alongside General Pepe, who is replacing J. Cole, if I'm not mistaken, and he is about to get underway with his flying lap. Before that, we do believe there's a couple drivers ahead of him. One of them is Corporal Carrot, so let's just follow him on a lap, just as he gets to wait for the about 120 meter marker to get himself to the first chicane. Drops down to second gear. He needs to be careful, especially on these slippery conditions, as he uses the full weight of the track, trying to put the traction down as cleanly as he can. Up through the gears once again, through the second straight into turn number 4. Another very technical sequence of corners. He didn't quite get the best of angles into the right-hander there of turn number 5 now, which is effectively a double apex right-hander at turn number 6. And then through the sequence of winding corners through number 7, all the way up to number 11. He's still pushing, even though it looks like he's quite slow at the moment. Still a bit tentative on those, and unfortunately, it looks like he's going to nullify his lap. Cisco sets the fastest lap so far with a 1:30.4, Jess.
Yes, not a bad lap time for Cisco, and he had a bit of clean air as well, which I think really does help him. So he's going to have a lot of time just to get used to the track, as well as the other drivers as well. And more importantly, 3 choice of tyres for today's race, because obviously, unless the track dries up, they will be obviously qualifying on the inters, and then they could decide whether they want to do the softs, the mediums, or the hards, as we discussed earlier on. And I don't know. I think it's going to be a close call. Some people think the one stop's best. Some people think the two. I don't know which one's the best. I haven't tried it much myself. I really need to do some practice anyway for my race on Thursday. But I think most people today, I think, are going to go for the one stop generally because they don't want to take the risk. But we'll see anyway. They'll have fresh softs anyway if they want to do it. So we might see more people than we thought.
Man, in the meantime, we had the debutee with a banger, a 126.5, sets himself as the target to beat as he gets himself provisory pole. In the meantime, we have also a few drivers who completed their laps without valid lap times. This was the case of Corporal Carrot and Marky Mark. We also have Gilbovan, who just crossed the line with his Renault to claim P5 with a 128.8 for the time being. And we have a few drivers very close to the closure of their laps, as is the case of the pole. Lehman crosses over the line, 26.5 once again, and look at that, Jess, 7 tenths apart, but the Williams driver takes the upper hand.
You mean 7 thousandths apart?
Yeah,
yeah, 7 thousandths apart. That's insane. He was back last time about in Japan, but unfortunately he DNF. So yeah, I think he would want a miracle today. He wants to get back to his winning form because I remember his performance in Hungary. It was outstanding. I mean, he just was on a class of his own, and it's kind of similar conditions to what it is now. So I'm guessing he's going to perform well. Krugditz has just beaten him by 1/10, 126.472. So very good lap time for him. But yeah, I could expect to see good things from Lemon if the conditions are going to be like that for the race. I don't know what the conditions are unless the drivers are going to tell us, but it's very rarely that the drivers tell us, so it's going to be a bit of a surprise for us. But we're seeing more drivers go on for a bit longer, but because they're not going on those tyres for the race, they can go out for as long as they like, Racebug.
yeah, exactly. One example of them is Marky Mark, who's on his second flying lap. Looks like he nullified it once again, unless he just wanted to stay in zero for this more complex stadium section. Nonetheless, he's back up to mode 5 for best acceleration. Will he finally get the time on the board? Let's see what he does with the Haas number 30.
Wow.
Pole! Straight to the top with a 126.4. Once again, we have another stalemate of sorts between P1 and P2, both on the same tent, as they are also followed by Shadow, who gets another lap. I was going to say, lap number 3 completed, and he gets himself up to the top once again, 26.4. So it's a matter of millimeters, a matter of tenths, a matter of thousandths of a second, really, separating these drivers, which shows not only how close this pack is, but also how difficult the circumstances are on track.
Yeah, they are, and there's some times where the conditions could be improving a lot, or maybe they're just getting a bit more used to the track. That's probably why they are improving. But Jake, he's showing that he is the champion of ILR PC, and very well deserving. Unfortunately, I wasn't here for Japan to see him take the title, but Shadow's done brilliantly this season, and props to him, you know. But he kind of wishes he was in the Renault, because otherwise he would have done the double. But nonetheless, he's in the Williams, and he's doing quite well on the track at the moment. Pretty much the top 7 are pretty stacked up, so we can see any of the top 7 take pole, but we haven't seen the bottom of the field set a lap yet, so they could get better laps in as well.
Yeah, exactly. Archie at the moment is getting to the stadium complex of turns 12, then the airpin of 13 and 14, then basically non-existent turn 15 before going slightly on the brakes for the approach of turn 16. Now all the way on the power, be as progressive as you can to put the power down as smoothly as possible, and there you have it, Archie back to the top with a 125.8. That's a good way of setting a first lap time on the boards, and there's no doubt about that. Not too far behind, I believe, is a Black Panther. He's currently in Sector 2, but unfortunately he has nullified his lap. We also have Cryptic and Krybashimi on their laps. Kaibashimi currently just started with sector number 2, is improving by a tenth, but he got wide there. Not sure if the game is going to let that through. I guess we are going to find out at the end of the lap. Just going to follow the youngster for the remaining of his lap as he gets himself through the middle. Ooh, that was a bit of a corner cutting there. Again, not sure if the game is going to allow that one. Nonetheless, the car tries to squirm a little bit on the rear end, having a bit of difficulty, the Haas driver, to get the traction down as smoothly as he wants. Nonetheless, he's still improving by half a second as he approaches the end of sector number 2. Could have gotten a bit of a tighter approach to the exit of the hairpin. Let's see how it goes for him now. Up from second gear, and he's actually going to abort that one, and he's coming to the pits. In the meantime, Jess, we have a few cars out there.
Yeah, everyone that's just a few people that just started on the lap. Cryptic is one of them. He's in the Renault, and he wants to get, obviously, to help the Renault team win the constructors today. He was looking quite quick in sector 2. Let's just see if he goes through the final few corners to seeing what lap time he can do. A little bit of a swerve towards the final corner there, but he's going to come across the line, and it is P8 for the Renault driver that pushes Kai down to P9 for now. So not a bad time from him. I'm just seeing who else is on a lap. Pretty much we've got Pepe, Gelberband, we've got Super GR, Andinator, Mark, and Jake. They're on their out laps again to go out for a second go to further improve their lap times once more.
Yeah, exactly. Rocky, I was following him, but looks like he also invalidated his laps. He's going to have another crack at it. In the meantime, Black Panther is going to cross over the line, P10, with a 127.6. A bit of a gap forming there between P9 and P10. Maybe not as practiced, at least under these conditions, is the Belgian driver of the Alfa Romeo. Nonetheless, he's at least starting in the top 10, which is a respectable result so far. We've had Lehman going on 4 laps in a row, so trying to get acclimatized as best he can on those intermediates so that he can put a faster lap, having a better understanding of where the grip is towards the end of the session. We have Marky Mark and Maranello Baby who have started their laps. In the meantime, the Ferrari is entering the stadium section, but half a second slower, so he's surely not going to have any sort of improvements. Andinator still in sector 1, just approaching corner number 1 at the moment, so we're going to figure out what he's capable of doing later on. Gelbevan though, 1.5 seconds almost of an improvement as he finds himself on the last few corners. Will the number 9 crack the top 5? Let's see what he does. 128.8 is what he's done so far. Crosses over the line, P10. 126.9, very close there to Kaibashimi, that's for sure. 4 thousandths of a second, but yeah, he demotes General Pepe out of the top 10.
Yes, very impressive from Gelberband. 1.5 seconds he has found. It just goes to show he's a bit more comfortable in the car setup, to be honest. So very impressed. But speaking of car setups, if the race is going to be dry, they're going to have to decide, right, am I going to have a dry setup for the wet part of qualifying, or am I going to have a wet setup but be compromised in the race? If I was them, I would make sure that I'm suited for the dries for the race, like have a dry setup and have a slower lap in qualifying. Because if you have a wet setup in the dry, that's really going to cost your lap. But that's why maybe some of these guys are struggling, because some of these guys are on, well, I think most of these guys will be on dry setups if the weather's going to stay as it is. And we've got the McLaren driver who's got pole again, 125.754, not that far ahead of Archie, who is in second place. So that is pretty good. So 3 people have gone into the 125. Will any more people get there, and will we see the conditions improve enough to get into the 124's race, Bug?
Yeah, well, let's see. For the time being, Maranello Baby slaps himself on the top once again with 125.5, getting himself about 2 tenths of a gap between him and the rest of the field. Of course, that same rest of the field, so to speak, is trying to do exactly the same, get some improvements, finding some time, as Kruzix at the moment is giving all his beans on the performance that he's going to try and get on this lap. Let's see how it goes. Just above 4 minutes left in the session. And it's been quite fun to watch as the track improves or the drivers improve on the conditions. 2 tenths, almost 3 as Cruisix found so far. A bit wide there coming out of the right-hander. Let's see how he fares in this more technical stadium section. Of course, always packed with a very happy crowd, always very enthusiastic. Here's the crowd in this last sector. He gets himself a correction through the last corner nonetheless. Didn't stop him from getting pole position, at least so far. And yeah, Jess, I do agree with you. It's going to be a very crucial balance that these drivers are going to have to find regarding the setup. Whether they try to get as quickest as they can, really, on the on qualifying trim, or if they want to go for a better pace in the race, in case that the race is dry. Of course, we don't know that one yet. But yeah, I would also choose for the race pace, because of course, if it is dry conditions, you spend a lot more time in the race than in the qualifying. So I would compromise a bit, or just have to deal with it in these trickier circumstances, as Shadow is going to let his teammates through, just started a lap of his own. But yeah, Jess, I do agree with you. I would as well set my sights on the top step of the podium at the end of the race, not of qualifying.
Yes, definitely. We just got 2 minutes and 36 seconds left to go of qualifying, and pretty much I think most people are going to go out for their final laps if they can improve. We've got the likes of Archie, we've got Caillou's going out on his final lap as well as Prix staying out, Jake staying out as well for an extra lap. So I'm guessing he's just slowing down a little bit, and then he's going to push to get his final lap through. This is very critical part of qualifying. In a dry situation, the track does tend to evolve. It is kind of evolving here, except the rain is pretty much the conditions are not improving. It's just they're just more getting used to the track, I think, in these wet conditions. Some of these guys are using no traction for the first time, and no traction on a wheel or a pad around this circuit in the wet. I find it very, very tricky. So that's probably why a lot of people had it invalidated to begin with. So I'm just seeing if anyone is improving. I think Archie could find some time pretty soon as well. He's very eager to get pole position today. He has admitted he hasn't had much practice today, but any bonuses that he can get, it'll be great to see. This is the first time most people picked up this game since pretty much a month ago when we were last in Japan. So we'll just see if any one of these guys have practiced enough. I think we'll probably be able to tell by the end of this race. But we've got 1 minute or so left to go in qualifying, and this is getting very spicy, Raceberg.
Yeah, exactly. I believe Archie has a bit too much ERS available. I think he just nullified his lap, so he's going to have another crack at it. Does the Mercedes driver. In the meantime, Black Panther improved to a 1:26.5 up to P9. Kaibashimi just started his flying lap. Cruisix was also about to end one of his laps. Can he further extend his lead? And yes, he does. 1:25.0. Cracker of a lap there from the Red Bull drivers. We just have under 40 seconds to go. So these drivers that are on their outlaps, they need to start hurrying up to make sure they get a lap in at the end of the session. So Archie started his lap, going to try to figure out any drivers that might be closer to the end of their own lap. Sleeman is just starting a lap of his own, actually the third on his set of intermediates. Shadow is almost on his fifth, but I believe he's going to end his stint of sorts with this lap, as he's still in the first sector. Maranello Baby taking his Ferrari through sector number 2, as Cisco does not find better than that 1:30.4, and therefore will be starting last for the time being. We have Cryptic in sector 2. Kaibashimi moves up to P8 with 1:26.3, is the first of the drivers to be seen the checkered flag while on the track, of course. We have Cryptic coming through in second sector as well. Let's see where he puts the number 72 of the Renault team. He's getting himself through the last few corners, going to navigate the very tricky section here of the stadium. Julian has joined, so we have Julian back, who took part of the first 7 races of the season, then unfortunately left the league, but now he's back as a reserve. Unfortunately, arrived too late for qualifying. Cryptic does not improve his position on the table. I believe Lehman is going to be the next one as Archie clips the wall, and that's over for him. We have General Pepe also retiring. Not sure if the same incident or not. Maranello Baby
Jake's
also
across the
retiring.
line. And Jake's P4.
Yeah, Jake's
Oh,
before,
P5,
but
sorry.
P5, yeah, because Lehman gets himself up to P3 with a 125.5. So, look at that.
Mark
That's
does not improve.
Yeah.
Mark does not improve. And we've got Rocky. He improves by 6 tenths, but that still puts him in P15. I think that's it. So your pole man for today is the Red Bull driver of Cruise 6. Incredible job. He was so close into the 124s. I did have a high hope that he was going to do it, but that was still a great lap in these wet conditions. He's going to have a really good start going into this race.
Yeah, Kruzix has been on fire lately. Since he found himself in a one-on-one with Shadow, with Jake for the championship, is really turning it up a notch. He got himself a win at Singapore, a P3 at Russia, a P2 at Japan, a race that was won by Andy Nater. Just no one could have stopped him that day. So Kruzix has been doing his best to beat Shadow. He's been doing his best to take the consistent podiums which were lacking for him. He was barely even getting in the top 5 for the first 7 races of the season. So now this later on he's really found himself some pace, and he's consistently a target or a threat for the lead, and he found himself a pole. And look at that dominating fashion as well, Jess. 5 tenths of a second over the debutee Maranello Baby, who does a great job as well to beat Lehman.
Yes, Maranello, I'm very, very impressed. We usually see a debutant do quite well in the first qualifying session, and Maranello did justice, and he improved that. And as you can see, it is very, very sunny, no rain in sight. I think we're all as relieved as each other. That means they won't have to worry about sliding too much going into the turn 3 and 4 in the rain. They'll just have to worry about the dry. And as we said at the beginning, 3 choice of tyres. More people may go for the softer option due to the fact that they can go out longer, or they might not change their strategy and may opt for the mediums to hards to fully secure that one-stop strategy. It'll be interesting to see what they go for. If I was in the bottom half, I would probably do the alternate strategy. I might do the hards, because then the mediums, they do have fresher grip, or you could try and spice things up a little bit to get fastest lap. We'll have to find out. We've got 6 people that can do that. Everyone has a chance, actually, of choosing what tyres they want. So it's not just the bottom half, it is the top half as well. So that's why it's taking a lot longer than normal for them to choose their tyres and race strategy. And I think the timer is getting underway, and then we are about to start on the formation lap and see what tyres they're on.
Exactly, so just going to check the details. Oh, and there you have it. Only 3 drivers starting on mediums. A bit of bravery, perhaps. Yeah,
I'm shocked about that.
Yeah, a bit of bravery, perhaps, especially from Maranello Baby. Because he's not only starting from P2, which arguably is a disadvantage, considering how long the first row is to the first corner. So the slipstream of his rivals, they are going to be all over his gearbox. And not only that, he's starting on a medium, so potentially less grip on the start itself. So his chances of maintaining that P2 by the time they arrive turn 1 are going to be extremely slim.
Yeah, I think so as well. He's going to lose so much time in the start. The likes of Lemon and Aidenita will take advantage on the start line as well. And it's going to be an advantage. I don't know which positions are on the racing line. I'm not sure if it's the odds or the P1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, etc., or if it's a 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm not entirely sure. But the ones that are starting on the racing line, they're going to probably have the huge advantage. But the ones that are not on the racing line, they're going to get the slipstream. So I don't know who's going to take the win. But I think Crucis is hungry. He's hungry to take that win today. He lost the title last time about, but he's not giving up in trying to make sure he can win some races this season. He wants to maintain P2 in his championship and show that he is also a threat in seasons to come.
Exactly. Well, at least I'm not sure about how hungry he is. He's surely in a rush, because he really pulled a bit of a gap on all
Yeah,
his
he
rivals
did.
during the formation lap, so he's surely at least in a rush. His tires and brakes are surely warmed up, as we have Cisco bringing up the rear. He's going to be the last driver to get on his designated spot, according to his performance during qualifying. Julian didn't do the transition to the race for some reason. Nonetheless, there you have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go for the Mexican Grand Prix. Good start from Kruzix, an even better start there from Lehman, who gets himself already up to P2. Kruzix gets himself to the other side of the track, trying to cover the inside line. It's going to be all chaos, all kicking up loose as we approach turn 1. Let's use the last of the late breakers. Kruzix has to contend with Lehman, who gets himself on his side pod, and he's going to claim P1. What a move from Lehman! Claims P1, and the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix. It's not all over yet, though. Shadow also with a great start up to P3. Maranello Baby has dropped down to P6. Marky Mark has climbed his way up to P7. Great start from the last driver, but at the front, Shadow and Kruzix and Aninator are coming to blows. It's the McLaren versus the Williams. Brave maneuver around the outside.
Pepe spun. Pepe spun at the back.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
a spin at the back. Who was it? Who was it, Chess?
It was Pepe. It was Pepe.
That's rather unfortunate, as Pepe, with their bit of a braver start on the mediums, the lack of grip perhaps put him in an unfortunate situation, and he got himself to the back of the pack, down in 16th place, 6.5 seconds away from the next car. Corporal Carrot Siskonik is still battling with Rocky. The Hungarian tries to hold it around the inside, which converts into the outside. There's contact with the Ferrari. Corporal Carrot and a bunch of other drivers just say thank you very much and just get past the Portuguese in the Ferrari.
We've got a few drivers going into the pits. We've got Archie, who's had a bit of an issue. He's got front wing change, and I think so is Marky Mark as well. So they might have had contact with some other people. But here we go. Jake does a really good send on Aidenator, and Jake's now up into P3, trying to catch up Cruises now. Jake has been the star so far in this race, and obviously Aidenator is going to have benefit of DRS. Oh, look at Cryptic. Cryptic's going to have another go. He's going to go to the inside. Is he gonna? Oh, they go off the track. That's not good. That is not good at all. And the positions keep dropping and changing at the moment. I can't really see the gaps at the moment, obviously, until they go to about lap 3. The only gap I can see is between Lemon and Cruz. It's in P2. But Jake, my man, I'm proud of you. Getting up to P3 like that. I think he's gained the most positions. No, we had Super GR, and Rocky's also gained quite a bit as well. So well done to them. But yeah, good job to Jake as well.
Yeah, there between Cryptic and Aninator, I think Cryptic was a bit too, he rushed his acceleration process and lit up the rear tires, actually ended up drifting his car into Aninator. Fortunately, no collision, no damage, but there was indeed a collision, no damage, but they lost an extremely big amount of time to the top 3, who now can just mind their own business and try to pull away from the remaining rivals, as we also have Galvovan catching up to his own teammate in Kaibashimi, right behind the pair of the black and yellow cars. Let's see how the black and gold car fares against them.
Yeah, but there was a few tracks like this where we've been able to get P7 and P8 and stuff. Will we see that today? We'll have to wait and see. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. Not quite sure what that's about, but we'll find out in a minute. Aidenator is dropping a little bit, so he must be struggling quite a lot to get the car together at the moment. But meanwhile, whilst you were commentating on that, I was watching the battle between Black Panther and Superior GR. Superior GR, unfortunately, I think couldn't get past him, and I think Cisco got past him as well. So Cisco is now up 5 positions. Black Panther's now up 1. He's up into 10th place.
Ooh.
And
there's contact. I'm sorry. Yeah, there's contact between there's the Ferrari of Cisco and Corporal Carrot, I believe. Superior GR, perhaps. Yeah.
Yeah, Superior GR,
GR and Cisco. They came together. I believe it was the Ferrari who got a bit of a loose rear end, but they kept forcing the issue, and Superior GR just didn't avoid him in time. Both got spun round, and Superior GR, the major victim of that, I would say, has severe damage to the left side of that front wing. He surely has to come into the pits for a replacement. Yes, he does. Cisco, he just got himself maybe a bit embarrassed, but the car is in one piece for the time being.
Yes, but we've got a battle coming right under our nose pretty soon. Unfortunately, I think we were trying to... Kai was going to try and dive around the outside, but unfortunately could not make it work. I think he's decided to back out from his ERS at the moment. He's got quite plenty, actually. He's got 92, whereas Gelberban has about 67. So they both got decent, but Kai has a little bit more of an advantage onto the straights. So we can go to that overtake mode and really challenge that Renault driver when he's got enough space, which I think would benefit him in the long run. And Rocky, I think, is now up to 7th place, so he's catching up. 8 positions, the Red Bull driver, so he must be avoiding trouble quite a lot here as well. So another driver that's done well. A little bit of a touch from Guy and Gelbervan. That was very, very close, but we're going to see a drag race on the start-finish line then. I think Kai's going to get DRS. Yes, he is. The start-finish straight then. Kai's going to go attack around the outside, and he does it. An easy overtake from him. But can Gelbervan do the switch back that he needs to? He's on the RS mode 0, so no. Kai Bacchini is now up into 5th place in this Grand Prix. So great overtake from him. And he's got another Renault in his sights as well. So we'll have to wait and see what he could do soon. But wait a minute. Gelbervan's got DRS. No, he hasn't. He's lost a bit of DRS. Oh, Kai's locked up a little bit. But I've probably gained a bit more time on Gelbervan. But yeah, overtakes happening throughout the field coming up.
Yeah, exactly. In the meantime, I took the opportunity to also witness the battle between Black Panther and Corporal Carrot, as there was something wrong with the standings just now, as everyone just dropped down a position for some reason. I think Andy Nater maybe had some connection issues. He's back up to P4. Cisco just got 3 seconds of penalties, and he's really pressurizing Shadow at the moment. But as I was saying, Black Panther got himself the slipstream and the DRS, and on his way to turn 1, just got himself past the Toro Rosso of Corporal Carrot. Up into P9 he goes, but at the moment you have Andy Nater setting the sights on the blue and the white car ahead of him. The champion is going to try to defend the best he can. He's going to give the inside to the McLaren. Will he be able to give the favor back at the exit of this first chicane? Let's see how it goes. A bit of a cleaner approach perhaps from Shadow, as of course reaches that braking zone at a slower speed, but coming out of it, he couldn't get himself a better run, and Andy Nater takes advantage of the DRS. There's contact!
Oh, no!
Shadow completely misses his braking zone and slams into the back of Andy Nater. Cryptic says thank you very much, moves up to P3, is going to let Andy Nater through, I suppose, so a bit of fair play there, but Shadow, a lack of focus there for a moment, proved deadly for his chances, perhaps, his chances of a podium. And look at that, Kaiwashimi just bringing up the rear of that group. He's all over the back of the Williams now.
Yeah, but he's taking advantage for it. He really wants to get that move. He's on the second DRS mode, but he's still going to go for it. Jake has got some damage, I can tell, because Kai Bacchini has managed to get past Jake very easily there. Yeah, I think Jake must be struggling, because otherwise Jake would have had to try and defend that, and he didn't. So probably Jake might go into the pits, or he might have to go for a bit moment longer. Yes, he is. I was right. He is going into the pits then. So, yeah, that was a bit of a risky move from Aiden and Jay, but that means that he's going to drop way down, and possibly he might get out of the points, but I presume Jake might go onto the hard compounded tyres. Just, no, but he's not. He's going on to the mediums. No, he's going to the mediums. Okay. So I'm guessing he's going to go for a 2-stop strategy. And but we still have some battles looming pretty soon as well. As we get to the first half, the first stint of the race, it is very crucial that they get these overtakes right on. I think Liam is already pulling away 1.7 seconds. He's doing a great job over Cruz. It's in P2, and Cryptic is about, I think, 5.6 seconds behind Cruz. So the top 2 race bug are really flying away with this, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, exactly, especially with all the mistakes and the battles from these drivers. Cryptic has found a way to get himself to P3, unfortunately doesn't seem to be on the pace of the top 2 at the moment, even though it's also a skill to be clean, and he got himself exactly that opened up the opportunity to claim that 3rd spot, and that's exactly where he sits with his Renault. Also, another driver I would like to bring into the spotlight is General Pepe, who was at the back of the pack at the end of the first lap, and look at him, up to P9, just over 4 seconds away from Black Panther, but being on the alternate strategy, at least for the start, might be fruitful towards the end of the race. Kruzix is the first of the leaders to stop.
Yes, so he's going on the mediums. I think more people are going to try for that 2-stop or try and push the mediums to the end. It's going to be a gamble for Kruzix, but you never know. We've seen surprises in the past, so we'll have to wait and see in about 10 laps or so time if the medium tyres do start to struggle or if they're all right. But we're going to see Kruzix easily go past Black Panther due to the different nature of the tyres, and obviously it's newer tyres, so he's going to try and get past some traffic pretty soon as well. The field is calming down a little bit, which means a chance for people to make their first stops if required.
Yeah, exactly. Shadow lost quite a bit with the replacement of his front wing. He's behind Archie at the moment. He's on new mediums rather, but still out of the DRS range of the Mercedes. We have Kruzix, who came out of the pits in P8, but overtook Black Panther pretty promptly. And Lehman is going to the pits. Cryptic is going to inherit the lead of the Grand Prix. Let's see what is the tire of choice for the Williams driver, and it's going to be mediums. And I'm going to take that to ask you, Jess, are the drivers going to take mediums and then another set of mediums, or do you think they are going to be back on the softs for the end?
I don't know, to be honest, but wait a minute, hold on a second. We've got a battle between Lemon and Kruzix once again. Kruzix is going to go to the outside with his newer tyres. Is the overcut going to work for him? They're going side by side into turn 2 and 3. Can Kruzix get the send? No, he can't. A bit of touch in there, but Lemon only just gets the lead of this race. He has DRS actually still, so he's going to have more of an advantage. Bit of lock up for Kruzix. Can he do the send? Coming up into this chicane. Oh, this is very close racing. Absolutely brilliant from the pair of them. That's why they're in the top 2 of this race so far. They're going to have another go. Oh my god, this is insane work from the pair of them. I think Lemon has just got the position from Kruzix again. It's like there's some corners you can't overtake, and they're proving us wrong here. And oh, is Kruzix going to try again? He's going to try again. Look at this. Oh my word. Kruzix has gone for it. Has he sent it? Yes, he has sent it, and he's done a Hulkenberg. He said, see you later, and there he goes. He is in the net lead of this Grand Prix, but for how much longer? Lemon is chasing him for every moment, so this could, the positions can swap and change pretty much every lap. No, Rocky is out. What has happened to Rocky? I think it was in the final corner.
Yeah, I think he just lost the rear, lit up the rear tires, and the car actually whiplashed on him because he got himself on the left side wall. So I guess he just lit up the tires, and trying to correct, the car just whiplashed on him and sent him to the left, and that's not exactly where the racetrack is. So race over for the Hungarian, as we had an amazing battle just now between Lehman and Kruzix. I was actually thinking that Lehman would be able to get right back on Kruzix, but he's not going to give him that satisfaction. He knows that Cryptic has shown decent pace, he's shown to be competent here at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodriguez. He inherits the lead of the Grand Prix. Of course, these two cannot spend too much time battling each other, or the overcuts might actually work for the Renault driver as he comes out of the pits. Close to the battle between these two, because of course all the time they could potentially lose battling each other. Kruzix trying to put a surprise there on Lehman, coming out of a slow speed corner to just get himself a full blast from the power unit to get himself a few tenths. Didn't quite work exactly to the fullest extent that he wanted, because I believe Lehman is going to get DRS coming on this beginning of lap number 11. Yes, he does, as we had Andinator Gelbovand come into the pit, and just look at this. Kruzix tried his best, but Lehman doesn't even need to push too much from his engine to just reel Kruzix in with the aid of the drag reduction system and the slipstream that he can get from the Red Bull ahead of him. In fact, that's a second time that's going to get that in a row due to the second DRS zone giving him the system, the drag reduction system, once again. In the meantime, Jess, Andy Nater comes out in P6 from his pit stop. Gilbovand goes on the arc, surprisingly.
Well, I think Gelderban is committing to the safe one stop, I think, almost certainly, because otherwise he wouldn't have gone on to the medium tyres if he wasn't that. So he's going to have more grip towards the end of the race, but he'll probably be slower into that stage. And we will see as we go to the end if the mediums or the hards are the best option. Always a little bit of a touch from Gelderban, and I think it was Corporal Carrot. Yes, it was Corporal Carrot as well, but don't forget, Corporal Carrot is on 10 lap holder stuff, so he will have to pit very, very, very soon indeed. And he goes past Corporal Carrot, so he's up into P8. So more people in the pits. I think we've got the last of the soft runners into the pits. We've got Cryptic in the Renault, and we also got Kai Bacini in the Haas. He's going on to. So, okay, so we know a couple of people committed to the 2-stop, and that is definitely Kai and Aidenator. They started on the softs, and they're going to stay on the softs, and they obviously have to go on a different set of tyres, because otherwise you're disqualified from the race. So so we had some people doing the 2-stop, and Marky Mark's out of the race.
In the meantime, sorry to interrupt, but we have Cryptic sending another one right around the outside of the Deputy General Pepe. No answer possible from the McLaren, who's on his 11th lap on the mediums. Cryptic gets himself between the Papaya Orange cars, sends himself up to P4.
Yeah, great stuff from Cryptic there. If he wants to get the positions, he's going to do that. So great job from then. And the question is, will Aidenator be faster than Cryptic, and will he get past him when we get to his second stop, when he's on those fresh set of mediums? Only time will tell, but at the moment he's catching up to him, but to Aidenator, so he should be fine. So Aidenator needs to start pushing really if he wants to stay ahead. He's doing all right to do so at the moment. So again, we'll keep an eye on those soft runners. Lemon is still catching on Cruz. It's quite a bit here, and I think he's going to wait to put more pressure in towards the end, really, than in the beginning of the stint, because if he puts pressure now, then he's going to have more chance for Cruz to respond. So I think Lemon is just going to wait and I think probably keep Cruz at bay and probably keep caught him from napping, and then he can go for the move, but not quite yet. I think he's just waiting, but for the more time they're battling like this, Aidenator's on those softs, he can have an opportunity to pounce and try and overtake them for now and start pulling away.
Yeah, in the meantime, Shadow has dropped the place to Kai Bishimi, who not only has softer, fresher tires, also the DRS and Slipstream aided that maneuver quite a bit. But one thing I was actually on board with, on the pit stop of Corporal Carrot and Archie, Corporal Carrot was having major difficulties with his tires, and Archie, the self-control that Archie had to have, because the speed difference was so big on the exit of that last corner, Archie was millimeters away from cramping up his front wing on the rear diffuser of the Toro Rosso. But I'm pretty sure he was fuming under his helmet because he was just so slow that Toro Rosso, nonetheless, no damage done. Archie already overtook the British driver. Ooh, a bit of a correction there from Archie, as those hard tires are not necessarily the grippiest ever, but Archie is going to be able to carry on, hopefully a bit more calm now.
Yeah, he's got some clean air. I know he can do it, and he could basically take these all to the end of the race, which could really benefit him and possibly try and get him some points if he's careful enough and keeps it clean. And I have faith in him, so he just got to keep it tidy. And I love his helmet, by the way. It looks pretty neat and swish for him. So yeah, I'm sure he's gonna be.
Oh, sorry, I guess just
P8.
Oh, you lagged there for a second. I thought you had dropped out.
Oh, right. Did I drop a little bit?
Yeah, you dropped a little bit. But you are back now. It was, you just went silent for a second, but you are fully back, as we have another round of the Lima and Kruzix battle, and as you can see, above 70% is the battery charge of Lima, and Kruzix is under 40% at the moment. Kruzix tried his best to just catch Lima napping out of a slow speed corner and just give it full beans, try to get a distance going. Failed at that, and now Kruzix is going to be on resource management mode until the end of the race. Of course, Lehman is going to try and drain Kruzix for as long as he can. I would say that the best option Kruzix has is to actually let Liman through and try to pull off the reverse card and try to do the same on him, as in the meantime, Gelbovan and Maranello Baby swap positions into the first corner, but look at that, Gelbovan gets a better exit out of the chicane, Maranello Baby gets to the RS, that's going to help him a little bit. Gelbovan is determined to get the place back, he breaks later, goes for the switchback, is going to set himself up for a better exit of the right-hander, yes he does, but he has to be patient, he cannot collide with the rear diffuser of the Ferrari, going to have to settle for 9th place for the time being. In the meantime, we also have Kaibashimi catching up to General Pepe, Jess.
Yeah, don't forget, General Pepe is the only one of the medium runners, as well as Perry. Well, he's the only driver out of the whole field who has not pitted yet for a set of... Actually, no, he might have gone earlier due to damage. Let me just check a second. Nope, he's pitting now. So, yeah, he was the only driver that hasn't pitted yet, but he's going to pit now. So, I think... I'm almost certain he's going to go onto the hard tyres. Yes, he's got the hard tyres fitted on, so a definite one stop for him. It's doable to do mediums to hard. That's what I would do if I was in his Grand Prix. Oh, look, oh, sorry, I've just missed it. I think Lemon is threatened by Cruises, I think, right in front of him. So he is going to be under pressure there. That was very, very close. Apologies that I missed it. I'm not sure if Racebug had called it, but
I did.
yeah, that's very close again. Lemon is just gaining more speed on the corners. That's really helped him, I think. Oh, we got disqualification. What's that?
He crashed. Yeah, he crashed out on the quick S section in the middle sector. He lost the car, got himself into a wall. I don't know what happened there. He didn't get going. It's not terminal damage, so not sure what happened there. But I guess he just gave up on his chances. Woo, Kruzix having a bit of a counter-steering motion there as he tries to save his car as he's hunting down Liman. And I don't know if Kruzix is actually listening to the feed, but right on cue, I told him to switch the positions back, and that's exactly what he did. Even though he's being a bit more aggressive than Liman was before, he's trying to get the place back, wasting his resources. He should probably just try to force Liman to boost himself up and utilize the slipstream and the RS to save fuel, to save battery, force Liman to deploy his modes more aggressively. But yeah, Kruzix was a bit aggressive there. Not sure if Liman is going to let himself be caught under the same strategy that he was trying to employ on Kruzix for the past 10 laps or so.
Yeah, I think he knows what Kruzix is capable of, and he doesn't want to get in that situation. So that's why he's starting to pull away quite convincingly at the moment. He's got better straight line speed, as you can see. So we'll have to wait and see. Oh, he's got the bit of the corner there, and it was a corner cut. He's got a penalty, so that can hugely affect the outcome of this race if Kruzix doesn't get any more penalties, because Kruzix will end up taking the win, because penalties are key around this track. If you mess up, then you can lose quite a few positions already. So I think Lemon is going to try and avoid that. He's got to keep clear of Kruzix now if he wants to stand a chance of still winning this race.
Yeah, I think Liman has done exactly what Kruzix was trying to do when it was his turn up ahead. Liman, I followed Liman in a race in another league, and he does extend there quite a bit. It doesn't give you a penalty most of the times, but as I was going to say, Kruzix is falling under the same strategy that he tried to employ a while ago. Kruzix tried to just come out of one of the corners, put it full beans on the power unit, and just drive away. And at the moment he's still on mode 0 through the S's. He's really not realizing that Liman is just putting up mode 4 and just driving off. Kruzix is close to losing out on DRS. So let's see, Liman is driving a bit more smartly perhaps than Kruzix at this point of the race, even though Liman missed his apex there on the hairpin, so a couple tenths over to the Red Bull. But as you can see already, 7 tenths away, 8 tenths away even, between the Williams and the Red Bull, which is not exactly what we wanted to see from up here on the commentary booth.
No, not really. But yeah, this is going to be quite tough, I think. I think that's what Lemon is trying to do. He's trying to break the DRS straight of Krutitz, and then he should be fine. But it is going to be a tall order, but he is doing it well. So Krutitz is hopefully he's listening, and hopefully he won't do that anytime soon anymore, because he's done another lockout. That's probably going to help Lemon even more going into the final stages of the race. And the mediums will start to wear out a little bit towards the end of the race, so they're going to find it a lot tricky, and the ones who will have to make another stop, they will take advantage of that surely, but that probably won't affect these two because they're so far ahead of everybody else. And obviously Aidenator will still need to pit, so their nearest rival on the same tyre is also Cryptic, so they got them to worry about if they don't get a move on very, very soon. So pretty much, I think, yeah, we are halfway in this Grand Prix now. Anything can happen. And the one that's gained the most position so far out of everyone is, I think we've got three people that gained 3 positions. One of them is the debutant. So the debutant has done quite well, and looks like he's going to get his first points of the season. So if he keeps this up, he'll be a mega chuff with that.
Yeah, he's setting his sights on that one. Cryptic, you mentioned him, is doing a great job. His personal best finish is 9th place on his debut at Russia. He DNF'd at Japan, unfortunately for him. He was actually running in the top 10 if I'm not mistaken. But Cryptic, once he came into the pits, he got himself a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane, which is quite unfortunate, as Lehman has a mistake there. Not sure if forced or not, but Critics going to say thank you very much, going to get the move done. But I'm not sure as to what extent this wasn't Lehman who had the 3-second time penalty. Now Cruzix just matched him. But I don't know to what extent this wasn't Lehman noticing that he's in a bad situation, that he couldn't get away, so he just wasted his resources, and now he's going to try to put the squeeze back on Cruzix. We might have a battle for who does not want to be in P1.
Yeah, I don't know. If I was them two, I want to be P1 until the start of the end of the race. But the person that's not going to be in P1 is Lehman. So he is going into the pits right now, and I think he's got a bit of damage. So we'll have to wait and see. Or if he's opting for the 2-stop, which is probably more likely. So here he comes into the pits. No, it is a 2-stop. So will we see more people go for that 2-stop approach? He is onto another set of the medium compounded tires. Now, Krutitz really needs to respond here if he wants to make this work, because Lemon is going to be on fresher tires, whereas Krutitz is going to be on old ones. Is the medium going to last for the rest of the race? I don't think so. Krutitz may have just made a mistake and not pitted. I don't know, but we've seen how close it was when Lemon and Krutitz were fighting when Lemon come out of the pits earlier on. Krutitz came out of the pits earlier on, so I think he's probably going to do the same and see if he can get past as well. So, yeah, that is absolutely very, very tight. But, yeah, does Lehman, did he make the right call? Only time will tell.
Well, one thing that might be crucial, actually, to the success of his option is that he came out of the pits right behind his own teammate. His own teammate might get him a bit of slipstream and DRS. Cruzix with a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Maybe a bit of cracking under pressure there for the Red Bull driver. But let's see how that one goes. Lehman following Shadow very closely. Going to put mode 5 of ERS. Going to put it full beans on his power unit, on that Mercedes power unit. Kruzix is going to come out of the pits. Is it going to be quickly enough? Let's see how it goes. Shadow is already on him. Is Lehman coming through? Yes, he does. And Lehman not gets past only on Kruzix, but also on Shadow. And now the champion might be a bit of a rear gunner to Lehman and might try to delay Kruzix. Let's see how that one goes. Kruzix does have that 5-second penalty, so I'm not sure if he definitely needs backing up. What he definitely doesn't need is to have someone between him and Lehman.
That was great teamwork from Jake there. Jake did very well to help his teammate. Jake knows that he's already won the driver's title. Oh, Jake's gone wide. So that doesn't help him in the slightest. His tyres are out of there, I think, at the moment, and that's Kritz's pass. So I think Jake was just helping him Lim a little bit to try and get the gap down, but look at Cruises. He's coming back at him, Lemon once again. So maybe the strategy has not paid off. I don't know, but it's nice to see teammates working together and Jay doing his best because he has nothing to lose at this stage. But we'll see. He's still out of DRS range though, Cruises. So he's got a lot of work to do. So Lehman has got to push, and we've got the last of the soft runners, Kai Bacchini. He is into the pit. He's going onto the medium compound of tyres. So I think we've still got one person still yet to pit, and that is Black Panther. After that, everyone would have made their final pit stops.
Exactly. Shadow is also on 16-lap old mediums, and he got himself loose quite a bit on that middle sector, so I'm pretty sure he's going to maybe not go on another set of mediums. I think he's going to try to go on 10 laps on the softs, which is potentially, Sky Bashimi just gets over the curbs there. Now he has more grip on the car, and probably wasn't expecting that. Case of too much grip, perhaps, was the case there for the youngster. But as I was going to say, maybe Kruzix should have just beaten that bullet and kept on with his game and pitted for softs with 10 laps to go. Shadow would always get the DRS. Shadow would always be Lehman would always get the DRS from his teammate as Shadow gets out of the way from Endinator. But yeah, Lehman would always get the DRS, would always be faster, would always pull off the undercut. Why not turn the undercut back on him once you come out of the pits on softs that you can really push on them until the end of the Grand Prix? Not sure if that would be a better approach to the situation, perhaps. What the situation is at the moment is that Kruzix is not in any way, shape or form a threat to Lehman at the moment, especially out of the DRS range.
Yeah, I could safely agree with you on that one. I think it's going to come down to attrition and who's going to get the less penalties out of them, I think, as well, and who's going to pull away the most. I mean, this could go on pretty much for the whole race, so they really got to pull it together if they want to stay where they are, because it's not over till the checker flag falls. We could see people make huge mistakes, and that could really cost the end of someone's race. But we've seen surprises come up before. Let us know your thoughts in the chat, who you think is going to come out on top with the like of Lemon and Cruises. So far, we've lost 3 drivers today. We've lost Mark, we lost Rocky, and we lost Superior GR, who has got disqualified. So those are 3 drivers. We've still got 13 in the running. The current fastest lap at the moment goes to Adinator. So at the moment, he's in the top 10, so he will get an extra point if things stay as they are, unless someone goes on a softer tyre and just tries to beat that. But yeah, at the moment, it's looking like the McLaren driver will get that extra point.
Yeah, one thing I would like to point our attention towards is Kaibashimi is on brand new mediums, is going to take those until the end. Shadow in front of him has to pit. It is a big gap from Endinator, but Cryptic also has to pit. Cryptic just took a 3-second time penalty. I know Kaibashimi also got that, but Cryptic has 6, but he has the 5-second penalty, the Renault driver. So Kaibashimi has potentially 2 places to gain and get himself best season performance. His best performance so far was 7th place at Monza. Unfortunately, hasn't gotten himself in the point scoring positions in the last 2 races. So it's
Did he DNF in one?
Yeah, he DNF'd in Japan. So yeah, that's as good as coming back to form as ever for the Haas youngster. And on an equal note of pointing our attention towards the situation, Kruzix has finally... Oh, Jake's has pitted, but Kruzix has finally breached the gap, finally under 8/10 of Lehman, and Archie's out.
Right, where is Archie? I'm going to see where Archie is. I don't think I think his car would have gone, but I'm going to follow Black Panther just to see that, and he's got a time penalty for that. Yeah, I think his car just went as we seen that, so unfortunately I wasn't able to see it. Actually, we could... I wouldn't be surprised if it was the stadium section.
No, it
Or
was
it might be
before. It was the end of the S's.
Oh, yeah, that is really hard to get around. So I'm not really that surprised. But what a shame for Archie. He was looking like he was going to do a great comeback with his hard tyre situation. But no, that didn't work. That didn't work really for him at the moment. So there we go. That is... oh, and Galvan has got a penalty as well. So I think pretty much everyone has got penalties so far this race. I don't think anyone has got away scot-free. So I think no one is... I think there might be a few people. Does Jake? I don't think Jake's had a penalty. Let me check for Jake. As in Shad. Oh yeah, he's got a penalty. I thought he got away scot-free. Pepe. No, Pepe's got 2 warnings and that's it. So Pepe, I haven't seen no penalty from him. So if he keeps this up, he can gain quite a bit and get an impressive result for his debut. That would be absolutely amazing. I don't want to jinx things too much. Touch wood. As Cryptic goes into the pit, he's onto a soft tyre, so he's going to be faster, and he's going to try and catch the Haas driver now, and he's going to see if he can try and pull away that 5-second deficit that he needs to, really. Oh, look at this, Cruises and Lehman. They're going side by side once again. Cruz is going to try and overcome that deficit. He's going to try and get the send on the inside, but Lemon is going to try and go around the outside. They're going to go side by side here. Is Cruz going to try and do the same here?
Oh, sorry, Jess, you cut. Sorry to interrupt, but there you have it. They are still side by side through the S's. And was there contact? There was contact. Kruzik's in the wall. Kruzik's found himself a bit too long for that for that challenge there, and there was just no space. That's a very tough sequence of corners. I guess Lehman just was a bit aggressive and claimed that spot.
Now.
Yeah, he claimed this spot, that spot as his own. Kruzik, it's his winning chances down the drain. He's going to get to the pits, and look exactly who's going to benefit from that. Kai Bashimi, the factor of the 5-second penalty for Cryptic is gone because Cryptic served those 5 seconds under the pit stop. So Cryptic might be on the cards for the podium. He's on the softs. Kai Bashimi is on 5-lap old mediums. It's going to be the first podium for one of these 2 drivers. Lets you take the upper hand. Cryptic, very brave on the late braking there. The added grip on his tires allows him to take the upper hand, and he's going to get to DRS as well, I believe, on the other side of the chicane. Up to P3 goes the Norwegian.
I think Kai didn't challenge that. He knew he was medium tires. He to back out a little bit because otherwise he would have held himself and Cryptic up, and obviously he knew about his penalty situation, so he thought, you know what, I'll let you pass and try and catch up to the other guys, which I think is the best situation for him at the moment. So I think he's gonna be alright. It's still gonna be Kai's best result anyway, so I think he won't be too disappointed as long as he obviously finishes the race. But yeah, you can see Cryptic's soft tires pulling away.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Andy Nater has caught up to Lehman. Not exactly sure what happened, but we have another battle for the lead. Andy Nater is going to take the slipstream off of Lehman. Lehman couldn't get to the DRS on the ghost of Corporal Carrot. He's going to slit right between them, and he's going to take the lead. Will Lehman try to answer back. He's going to stick his nose down the inside. Not enough daylight to put his Williams in there, and he's going to have to concede the place. He's going to get to the DRS nonetheless. He's not going to activate it though, unless that is a visual glitch on my side of things. But Andy Nater claims the lead of the Mexican Grand Prix.
That was great from Nater. Absolutely great stuff from the McLaren driver. He's one of those guys that's made that 2-stop strategy work. He's done it to perfection. So, but I think they're on the same amount. Actually, now I think Nater has 1 less penalty than Lehman. So yeah, he's going to take the lead of this race. So yeah. That's gonna make people's decisions even harder. If you're watching or still to race on PS4 or Xbox, it's gonna make your decision even harder. Right, am I gonna do a 2-stop or a 1-stop? I think my decision is pretty much sorted for that, but I think there's a lot of difficult answers here as to whether you're gonna go on soft to mediums or do soft medium or soft medium. But Nater's worked out perfectly, and then whilst we saw that guy's got another penalty, so I think Jake will take P4. From anything, Galvaran will take P5. So yeah, maybe General Pepe might benefit from this as well. No, Jake's got another penalty as well. So yeah, I think they're even Stevens with that one. Oh, Lehman's gone wide. He's going to get DRS though, and he's not using it. So I think his DRS is broken. So otherwise he would not be using it, or he's backed out at either one. But it is quite common that usually I find sometimes if I lose DRS, it's usually around this circuit. So I won't be surprised if that happens. So yeah, they're on similar tyres as well. So it's going to be very tough for Lemon to try and pull away from Aidenator if he gets past him.
Yeah, Lemon, though, that exiting wide there was, well, he usually does that, and not opening the DRS unless he got broken onto the 1-2-3 corner chicane. He did use DRS on the run down into turn 1, because he claimed a lot of gap on the McLaren. As
he's got a penalty! Lemon's got a penalty!
Yep, another penalty. And he's going to get himself close to Aidenator. Not sure if he's going to pull the trigger on him. In the meantime, we have Maranello Baby catching up to General Pepe. Both debutees, one on 8-lap mediums, another on 14-lap old hards. They are used to battling each other from another league, which I also commentate. But yeah, they are familiar with each other, so we might have a good Indian battle between the two of them until the end of the Grand Prix. In the meantime, the battle is on for that P7. Maranello Baby with the DRS, with the slipstream mode 4 of DRS as well. Is going to use it all from the Ferrari power unit, hunting down the Renault-powered McLaren, and he lunges down the inside. Will General Pepe be able to negotiate back? Ooh, that was very close between that rear tire of the Ferrari and the front wing of the McLaren. But Maranello Baby takes the upper hand.
Yeah, he's made a great comeback actually, because he was lower down the field when he in that incident, and now he's up into place. So I'm guessing he avoided what was happening with the front runners who had a bit of issues. So yeah, very good comeback from him, and if he keeps this up, he can still get some decent points through this. And he's doing very well on those mediums, and obviously this will go to the end of the race. And you can see Aidenator is having the upper hand on Lemon. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I do apologise. But anyway, it is great to see the top guys absolutely fine for their dear life. Not the ones that we would be expecting, but it's just great to see the change of the old guard, to be honest, because...
Oh, sorry, you just went down again. You just cut again. So yeah, I'm going to take over, and yeah, Bill, just looking at chat, Bill is asking if it is Lemon or Lemon. I don't know, I got used to Lemon. I've been told multiple times, not by him though, but I've been told multiple times that it's Lemon. But in just the heat of the moment, I always say Lemon. I'm just used to it. I don't know what I can do to avoid it now, so I guess it's just imprinted in my mind.
I say different all the time. I sometimes say Lemon, I sometimes say Lemon.
Yeah, exactly. And we also have, who I guess is Kai Bashimi's mother, Kate.
Saying don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it. I mean, Kai Bashimi, unfortunately for him, is still on his personal best, but he's out of the battle for the podium, as Cryptic is already 5 seconds away. He's really using to the fullest that set of softs. Lemon, though, is once again hunting down Aidenator. Not sure if much is going to come from this, unless he's just trying his hardest to put the pressure on Aidenator in trying to get him to make another mistake and get another penalty. But at the moment, I believe Lemon has 9 seconds of penalties and Aidenator only has 3, correct, Chess?
I will check at the moment. Aidenator has 1, 2, 3, 4 penalties, and Lemon has 2. So if it stays as it is, Lemon will be in the race. Well, Lemon, will be taking the race win by, I think, about 6 seconds, I believe. So yeah.
I thought it was the reverse, but looks like it's the McLaren that is in dire straits at the moment. Maranello Baby, though, he is on a charge. He got past General Pepe, his fellow Indian, and is all over the back of the German in the Renault. Gelbovan's 22 laps on the hards. An absolute mad lads to manage those tires for that long. He's managing to do it somehow, but Maranello Baby exactly half of the tire usage, and is coming with a lot of grip compared to the Renault. and he didn't quite get too close to Gelbavand out of the middle sector there, but you can see how much Gelbavand is struggling just off at corner number 12. And now coming out of the 13, 14, 15, 16. Ooh, there's contact between the two of them. You can see how much Gelbavand is struggling, just braking a lot earlier than the Ferrari. I'm not sure if there was damage. There was no damage in the number 46. I believe there's also the number in the Ferrari. Nonetheless, he's going to reel him in with quite a lot of ease. Mode 4 of DRS as well. And Gelbavand just has no choice in the matter. Maranello Baby climbs up to P6.
Yeah, he does. So he's climbing there. He's doing well to get to that position. And this has been a great race so far. So much happening at the space of a few laps. It's just been, I think it's mainly the strategy that has helped us quite a lot. So yeah, that's worked brilliantly.
Exactly. In the meantime, we had Kruzix just easily zooming past Renal Pepe. Of course, 18 lap hards versus 6 lap softs. That's no wonder who wins that battle. Kruzix just flying low, catching up to Gelbavand, already claimed 1 second in, I believe, these first 2 sectors of this track. So is very close to getting the DRS on Gelbavand. You can see how much track he's gaining on the Renault in the braking zones alone. I think Kruzix won't have DRS available to him right now because he just got too late to the detection zone to get himself the drag reduction system activation available. Nonetheless, he's going to take the slips. I'm going to give it pins, mode 4 VRS as well, and he could only not claim the place of Gelbavand, he could also strike on the Ferrari of Maranello Baby. Then it would be very unlikely that he catches up to Shadow, who is also closing in on Kaibashimi, but for the time being we have Kruzix getting past Gelbavand. Gelbavand is not giving up just yet. And, oh, there was a bit of a mistake. Gelbavand trying to give the fight back to Kruzix, breaks too late, locks up. Kruzix has even an easier moment getting through than he might have thought at first. But yeah, Jess, as I was saying, Shadow is closing in fast on the youngster of the Haas.
Yeah, but I don't think Jake needs to push that much because obviously of Kai's penalty. So, oh, wait a minute, we've got a battle for the lead once again. I don't think it's going to change things, but we've got obviously penalties to play for. I don't think I think Lemon wants this battle on track, but is the gamble gonna be risky enough? He's gonna try and go for it. Yes, he does. Oh, they touch again. Oh, it's gonna be ever so tight. They can't afford to go on each other's toes too much, but yeah.
Yeah, Lehman does take the upper hand there. Kruzix closing in on Maranello Baby. I don't think he has enough for the DRS, but he still has this last lap to get that matter settled. Shadow, 1.5 seconds away, sort of, on Kaibashimi. Not sure if he has enough on his tires to get it done, but there you have it. The fireworks, if I can call it that, always bringing a great atmosphere to the stadium section in the last lap of the Grand Prix. And there you have it. Even the Nandinator crossed over the line first. It wouldn't matter. Lehman crosses over the line to take home the win of the Mexican Grand Prix. Nandinator gave him hell, but has to stay content with P2. Black Panther lap down closes the top 10. Cryptic, his first podium in only his 3rd attempt in the league. Great job from him. Kaibashimi closes in P5 due to the penalties. Jake closes the race in P4. Kaibashimi, personal best finish of P5. Maranello Baby is coming through, fending off Kruzix. He's going to cross over the line and maintain P6. Yes, he does. The Red Bull gets P7 sadly after that collision with Lehman. General Pepe in P8, Gelbavand in P9. Black Panther closes top 10, and then we had another 3 cars finishing outside the top 10. But well, Chess, that has been a very exciting race. Always a scrap for the lead, even though in the last few laps, due to the penalties, the situation wasn't perhaps as exciting. Nonetheless, great track action almost every single lap.
That was amazing. I'm glad I didn't miss this race because I was like, oh, I could say on this race, but I think I'm glad I made that decision. But Maranello was the biggest surprise. I mean, I was expecting him to falter even with those damages he had earlier on. But he surprised me and did very well. And he is back up to P6. So I would say, it's a toss between drivers. I would have to give it maybe to Lemon or maybe Maranello. I would probably have to give it to Maranello, but let's go for the standings anyway. We've got Lemon, who wins, Aiden 8 second, Cryptic third, Jake fourth, Kai fifth, Maranello sixth, Fruit 6, 7, Pepe with a great result on his debut, 8th place, Galbavan 9th, Black Panther rounds up your top 10 with Corporal Carrot and Cisco with the last of the finishers, and your non-finishers are Archie, Marky Mark, Rocky, and Super GR. And I think that's it.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be it for today. Hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, give us a like button. If you did not, the dislike button is, as always, right beside it. Subscribe to the channel for not only the PC Championships, but also the multiple tiers of the PS4 and the Xbox Championships. Hope to see you guys in the next round number 19 of the championship. It's going to be held at Austin, Texas, the Lone Star State, and the Circuit of the Americas, going to be home of the American Grand Prix. Hope to see everyone there in 1 week's time. Hope you enjoyed the race, and have a good night. Goodbye.